Hello, you lovely people. This is me, the Bombay chef Varun Namdar, and welcome to Get Curried. Today's recipe is a spectacularly rare recipe, chicken giblet curry. Let's begin. Now for this recipe, of course, I'm going to use chicken giblets. They're chicken offals that generally are not the most liked across tables, but let me also tell you, there are connoisseurs that look for these recipes across dinner tables. This one happens to be my favorite. It's a curry that we make in our homes, which is literally a Maharashtrian style curry. But trust me, once you start making this, it is going to transcend all borders and all boundaries. Giblets in a pressure cooker, to which I'm going to add in turmeric powder, salt, and along with this, water. Now this water also would work as stock eventually. One quick stir, and we're going to put the lid on. Let's pressure cook this on medium to high flame for at least 3 to 4 whistles so that this is nice and tender. Well, one big mistake that a lot of people do across homes while they're cooking offals is they are undercooked. And that is where the recipe starts turning wrong. So please understand, the first thing is to choose good quality giblets or giblets as you call it. In our language, we also call it peta or pota, depending on the territory that we internally live in. We need to get this cleaned properly because it also has a yellow film on it, which tends to get bitter. It's important to peel it off, clean it nicely. If at all it does not get cleaned properly, you take a knife and clean it properly so that it's clean. Then you rinse it under running water, cut it into pieces and pressure cook it. Now this is getting done. Let's move on to the next step, that is making the masala. Now this is a very typical home style masala. On an open flame, we're going to roast dry coconut or copra. You'll reach a point here where you need to turn the flame off, because even after turning the flame off, the cobra or the copra will continue to kind of flame up. We pick it up, move it around like so, and keep it to cool down on the cutting board. Once this cools down, which is still going to take a little while, we're going to slice this into pieces or chop this up and then continue pan frying this. Now this in a lot of Maharashtrian homes is made as a masala and kept in the fridge, or if for a longer time in the freezer. This is generally known as kala masala or black spices. This is like a wet spice mix which is made with dry coconut, onions, ginger, garlic, chilies, coriander. I'll come to all of that. For now, let's slice some onions. Let's begin with oil in this pan. Once the oil just kind of begins to heat up, I'm going to add in the sliced onions. Let's move on to cloves of garlic. And along with this, while this is getting cooked, I'm also going to start slicing the coconut, which is now roasted and almost charred. Well, this is not only for flavor, but also for color in this gravy or curry. Let's add in the coconut chips or coconut pieces, like so. One thing as a note of caution, especially in this recipe, is that do not get overexcited and burn the coconut completely, because that is going to bring in the bitter notes in this recipe. Just give it a little bit of that deep brown black color, and that's just perfect. Off goes the flame, because the spices now need to settle down before we start grinding this into a fine paste. And to make a fine paste, of course, I'm going to add in some more ingredients. So let's do that. Let's begin with tomatoes, chopped of course, roughly. Moving on to fresh green chilies. Now again, depending on the kind of spice that you and your family prefer, I'm going for 4 spicy chilies. Fresh coriander leaves. Let's add in some dry spices, beginning with red chili powder, garam masala, and just a touch of turmeric. Remembering the fact that turmeric has already been added in the giblets. With this, off goes the flame. It's been 5 whistles now. I'm also adding in pieces of fresh ginger. Let's add in, of course, the mixture of coconut, onions and garlic. With this, we cover this with a lid and grind this into a fine paste. Now to begin with, you begin with crushing this and eventually you start adding in a little bit of water to ensure this becomes a nice and smooth paste. Let's do that. Let's begin with the curry. First things first, a deep pan or a kadhai, and into this, regular vegetable oil. The oil is heated up. Let's begin with roughly chopped onions. Once these just kind of begin to turn golden brown in color, I'm going to add in the ground wet paste. Mix this well and also add in half of the coriander leaves that we had kept aside. Once oil starts releasing from the sides of the pan, we're going to add in the cooked giblets. Of course, along with the stock. We give this a good mix, and at this point in time, we check for seasoning. Well, I feel it's just perfect. Let's give this a stir and allow this to simmer on medium flame for at least 5 to 7 minutes so that the masalas, the giblets, the stock and all the dry spices all become one and flavorful. You'd be wondering what this is in this little jar. This is basically the water from the rinsed mixer jar. You keep this aside because this also has a lot of flavor. In case you feel like adding in water, then add it from this. This also is like a secondary stock for the recipe. Let's mix this well. Allow this to simmer, and with this, your chicken giblet curry is done and ready. Now, whether you eat this with parathas, with naan, with roti, with chapati, with fulka, or with steaming hot rice, the choice is completely yours, but trust me, the bottom line is this is possibly one of the tastiest chicken curries ever. Also, if you're making a chicken thali at home, ensure this also becomes a little part of it so that you start initiating such new innovative recipes to your family. This is me, the Bombay chef Varun Namdar, signing off. Bye for now.